Well, thank you, Chad. We really appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast today.
You bet, man. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So can you give our listeners a bird's eye view of who Chad with Aquaman is?
You bet. So I owned Aquaman pools for 7 years. I guess I started it 7 years ago. Bought it as a really small route. Actually, it was 25 pools. And last week, we just celebrated 1,750 pool stops for the week. So that's we've grown a little bit in those years.
That's a huge accomplishment. And for anybody that doesn't know, Aquaman is also the company that was Brothers' biggest competition, even though you were bigger than us at the time. But you did buy our pools and allowed us to do Pool Chasers full time. So this is a real honor to chat about some of these things today.
You got it. Yep. I was super excited to take the Brothers routes in. And it was a great transition, and we still have a lot of Brothers customers today. It's been great.
That's awesome. So today's business tip of the month topic is growth mindset. We have 3 questions specifically. These are, short and sweet, but we'll just start with number 1, which is, why is it important to always be looking for new clients?
You got it. Thanks for asking, Greg. So one of the reasons I'm a very growth mindset guy. I always think about growing, always think about marketing. And I think if you're not doing that, you miss the opportunity. The market determines when somebody's looking for a new pool. So if you're not looking for the opportunities, you're missing those opportunities. And right now, the market's crazy, as everybody knows. There's lots of available opportunities for sure. And then the other thing that I like to say in response to that is you should be constantly working at refining your customer base. So maybe you have accounts on the edge of your service area or maybe there's accounts that you really don't like all that well. If you continue to market, you continue to look for new clients, you can refine your service base. That's more direct with how you like to do business. And the last thing on that is market saturation gives you an edge over your competition. If you stop marketing and you stop growing, or you back away from that growth mindset, somebody else will take the market saturation, which will then make their company and their marketing run better.
Dude, I love that. That's gold. And I also think that a lot of companies are in a growing stage where they're constantly, if you're perfecting things and you're taking on new clients, you're getting better clients as time goes on because you've perfected your process. And we're on the edge of that, and it's really difficult in the building years. You have all those growing pains where you're perfecting processes and learning how to use your website and CRM and all these different things. So as time goes on, you get better and you'll be more attractive to better clients. Is that right? That's
100% correct. And you learn that as the business owner, right? So you're learning essentially what that is. Right? And it's not the same today as it maybe even was 2 years ago.
Yeah. And for anybody listening, you want to listen to Chad. This dude is a mad hustler. He knows his stuff. We should probably be talking for a few hours, but I don't think you got time for that. So refining your brand as messaging on a regular basis as you market and change with what the market gives you is question number 2.
So I like to kind of relate that to growth mindset as essentially redefining what your core competency is. That's ultimately your brand message, right? So some pool guys may like cookie cutter pools, right? And you might want to be in and out. Maybe you've got a Riptide or something like that, and you want pools that have sidewalks, right? And where other companies might like complicated full automation pools, or maybe that changes along the way. So if you have that growth mindset and you're thinking about that, saying, hey, my essentially brand message is changing. Maybe 4 years ago, we only did cookie cutter pools, but we've got better at those larger full automation systems. Here in Arizona, that's, Paradise Valley pools, Scottsdale pools, right? So you redefine that brand messaging and you're not afraid to tweak it. Keep in mind, Apple is not the same brand today as it was, even 5 years ago. Apple constantly tweaks their brand messaging and tweaks their brand. And it might sound weird, a pool company, why should we do that? But I think that's what makes good, successful business owners, if they're not afraid to tweak their brand slightly and get better at their core competencies.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, everything from your brand, your team changes. There's an evolution, in the economy and in your company. There's so many things going on that you're just kind of changing with the times. I think you get stuck in a mindset where a long time ago, things didn't, technology was super slow. So things didn't really evolve that quickly. But now, man, it just seems like you wake up and you have no idea, what's going to be different.
Yeah, today's client is not the same as they were 12 months ago. They're definitely not the same as they were 2 years ago. And they've evolved a lot on what they want. They want communication all the time. That communication piece is so important with clients today. And, it used to be you could go in the pool, leave a skimmer tag, and leave. That doesn't work anymore. If you're a pool company that's relying on that kind of come and go mentality, today's clients are probably leaving you.
Yeah. And just to touch on that real quick, when things are changing at Aquaman, how do you get that message out to your team? Do you kind of take some time to kind of assess new ideas that you might have for the brand of the business and wait a second before, bringing everybody into a meeting? How do you go about that?
Yeah. So obviously I'm the idea guy. But we have a weekly manager team meeting. So we have a management team of four people plus myself. And every single week we have a meeting, and every single person around that table has a vote. So my management team has a vote right alongside of me, and that decides the direction that we're going to go on whatever idea it might be or whatever problem we might have. And they all have an individual vote around that. So that's kind of our process. We take something to the table, we talk about it, we kind of work through the idea, and then we go in a direction, and the management team then takes that down to their employees as well.
Right. Thank you. And the last question is, why should you always be hiring?
So, hiring is hard these days. I don't know. I keep hoping it's going to get better, and maybe it will, but I think you always need to have a line in the water. You always need to be looking for that person. You never know when somebody might come available that might not be available again for 2 years down the road. And if you get a chance to talk to them, they might be a fit in your company. So you should always be hiring. It also allows you to keep a pulse on the market. So what we pay technicians and today is not even close to what it was 2 years ago. The pay has shifted, and if you're not talking to people, if you're not constantly trying to hire people, you're missing that competitive edge that you might have. What people expect from a job these days. And I think the other thing is, I think you should market to hire just like you market for a new client. So Aquaman adds, 15 to 20 new accounts a week. So we're constantly looking for, technicians. And I believe you need to be marketing for that just like you do for new clients. We have a new route approximately every month, and we also always need people for that.
That's great. And real quick, do you have a process when, if you're constantly hiring people just like clients, you might not take every single job because it might not be a right fit. Is that mentality the same when it comes to technicians, where you're just constantly doing it because, maybe you get 20 people a week interested in a job, but it doesn't mean that those are 20 qualified technicians? Yeah,
for sure. We're not always the right fit for a tech. Some guys just or some people just don't fit into the culture of our company. But it's important to be talking to them to see if they fit, because the cultural fit is how we hire. We have our values, our core values, and you have to fit those to work for us. And I feel like constantly talking to people and constantly interviewing gives us that opportunity. And if we don't have a spot right then, we may have a spot in the next couple of weeks, right? So we want to definitely be talking to people for sure.
That's good. Hiring, that's probably got to be the most difficult piece in the whole equation. It's just, it's so difficult. I feel for everybody out there struggling with that, because I could not figure it out. Usually they were not a good fit for a lot of different reasons. It's a difficult spot to fill. That's for sure.
It really is. It really is. And this last year has not made it any easier. That's for sure.
Sure hasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Chad. Really appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast today. Where can people reach out if they want to, link up with Chad Nikkel from Aquaman?
You got it. So recently I joined National Pool Partners, and essentially Aquaman is now in that fold. We're super excited for that. So my email address, is essentially cnikkel, CNIKKEL @gonpp.com. Happy to have anybody reach out, talk about that opportunity as well. Super excited for that. And then also, obviously, Instagram. Always find me on Instagram, just my name, @ChadNikkel on Instagram.
Well, thank you again, Chad, and congratulations on the move to MPP. That's pretty awesome. Love everything that those guys are doing.
Yep, it's awesome. Super excited. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. I'd love to help anybody out we can.